You've got a new single out now. Can you tell us about Big City and the inspiration behind the song?
For sure. I wrote Big City with a friend of mine, Adrian Simon, and we wrote that song about 4 years ago. And it was the first thing we ever wrote together. First time ever sitting down, and that song came out. So then that like sort of sparked what later became a really rewarding and incredible collaboration. And he then went on to produce the whole record and helped write about half the record with me. um, so from that stance, it's like a very important piece, fundamental to kind of the relationship that Adrian and I now share. So I'm very grateful. In terms of the inspiration for it, I was broke and young and living in New York City and trying to find my place and trying to find my people. And so it's really reflective of that, and I mean, it's equally the most draining and most exciting place in the world,
Yeah, for
and so I
sure.
wanted to capture a bit of that, and finding a way to find yourself in this big metropolis, you know, um, that felt authentic to yourself, and I think that there's a greater message in it, where I was like going through some struggles and trying to figure out what kind of artist I wanted to be. And so there's elements of, music industry and those people and the voices that you had in your head that play a part in the song.
Talking about this larger body of work, how does Generation of Me build upon American English and surviving the suburbs while also differentiating itself? And is there a new release date for when fans can expect that to drop?
Yeah. I almost like there was a period of time where I kind of believed that the record was the baby of American English and surviving the suburbs. Like if you brought those two albums together, you got Generation of Me. I'd say what differs the most from the other two records is I'd say that it is a little more adventurous sonically. It's probably touching upon some more genres and some more sounds that I haven't quite immersed myself in thus far. I think elements of it feel a little bit more modern maybe than some of my other stuff. I'm not sure. Yeah. And then in terms of release date, June 9th is the day the album will drop.
Nice. If you had to pick one song off the album that best encompasses who you are as an artist, which would it be and why?
That's a tough one. That answer probably will change over time, but I'd say for how I feel right now, I'd say The World's Gonna Tear Us Apart, which is the last song on the album, which is just a live take, one take in a room playing piano and singing. That probably feels the most authentic to who I truly am.
You recently became an independent artist. Can you talk a little bit about the challenges and benefits that's had on your music and growth as an artist?
I would say that the greatest benefit is you truly do have like complete creative freedom. And I think how that manifests itself in the album creation process is I just didn't feel like I really had people over my shoulder. There weren't, sort of as many voices of fear chirping in my ear, I'd say. And I wasn't being questioned constantly. I mean, like, Adrian, we challenge each other. So it wasn't like I just had free reign and, I'm like, can't take any criticism. I'm really not that type of person. But it just felt nice. Like it felt like it came from a more pure place in a way. It was just me and my friend making this album together, and it brought us closer as friends and collaborators and all. I'd say the difficulties are that it's just sort of all the behind the scenes stuff that I wasn't really privy to while signed to a label, the things that are sort of being taken care of behind the scenes. I miss that a little bit, that being taken care of. I'm not like, I'm a musician, not a businessman. So I'd say some of that support. I think at times, like, the beauty of it is it all rests on your shoulders, but then the pressure of that, and it would be nice to share the load every once in a while, you know?
Mhm. Yeah,
So
no,
it's kind of give and take. Yeah.
as an artist, there's this expectation, kind of unspoken rule that you need to be constantly releasing new music. You know, you release new music, you go on tour. One of the benefits of this pandemic was the opportunity to kind of hit pause. How have you used this time to further develop your craft?
I mean, Adrian and myself, we really took the pandemic as an opportunity to slow down, take our time, really try to make the best album that we possibly could, because, you know, at that time, it really felt as though what world is there to even put this out in? Um, and so uh, I I just like took time to really edit the songs and dive even deeper into them and try to understand what it was I was really trying to convey with each set of lyrics. So the process of like re-singing things over and over and over again, really putting a microscope up to everything, and you know, uh, just diving in and really breaking it apart. Is this good enough? Is it good enough? Is it good enough? And just, you know, being really tough and thorough in the editing process, where maybe I would have felt more pressure to just put it out immediately, you know.
Yeah, and you know, one of the best ways to describe your artistry is cinematic, not only in sound but also the visual music videos that you've released. As you're working on new music, are you thinking about kind of the visual aesthetics? Where does that come in? What's that creative process like?
Yes, you know, and I've sort of taken it upon myself to get even more involved in that process than I had previously. So it's it can be somewhat random, you know, how that all comes to be. You know, you have a general sense of like, I mean, for instance, the Generation of Me music video. I just had the opening shot in my head, and then I worked with my friend Mike Walker and Jesse Bronstein, and we just took it from this one moment of walking out on the street, slipping on this condom, and then a group of people come scattered around, and like, where do we take it from there? So many days of just meeting up at each other's apartments, like workshopping it, and just taking a little idea and building off of that. I'd say with this record, collaboration played a huge part as well, and like collaborating with the people I'm closest with, you know, friends and family and whatnot, um, which was a rewarding experience just beyond the actual product itself. But uh, yeah.
You know, you're an artist that thrives on the stage. I know you've done a couple of kind of solo performances during the pandemic, but now you're getting back where there's now a live crowd. Is there a greater appreciation hitting back into the road, just given the fact that you haven't been able to do that in the last two and a half years now?
I mean, absolutely. And I was talking about this when I played my first show back from the lockdown or pandemic. And, you know, I said to the crowd as well, like, I just will never take this for granted again. You know, I think I got comfortable, and I felt entitled to certain things. And I could have nights where I just was like, I don't really feel this, like sabotaging the show a little bit.
Mm,
I'll never do that again. That's for sure. And I felt like, especially in those first few shows back, there was a real excitement in the room to just be there, you know? And so we all felt it. And it was like some of those first shows back were really magical. And it was nice to know. I mean, just the fact that it could be taken away at any point, you
mhm.
know, how little control you truly have often in life
Yeah.
was scary, and kind of took some pressure off a little bit as well in a weird way. But I'll say, yeah, I'm much more appreciative of the things I do have now, than I have been in the past, because it can be so easy as well to look at what you don't have, you know, and to look
Yeah.
at the people around you who you perceive to be further ahead of you or something. So you're always constantly striving, no matter where you're at, like for the next thing. And I think that as a result of this, you realize that first off, there's so much more to life, you know, and I came to appreciate some of the things beyond music. I felt like at times I got too bogged down in just one aspect of my life. Yeah.
This is such an exciting time in your career as you look ahead to the next 5, 10 years. What are some of kind of the personal goals that you hope to accomplish in this industry?
Well, I think I would love to be, I mean, I'd like to be playing larger shows. Like that would be nice. But beyond that, like I would really like to flex my songwriting muscles. I've been and production muscles, and I've really been enjoying working with other artists and writing music with them and for them. And I'd like to expand that element of what I do because I think one of my greater strengths is songwriting, and I just really love meeting new people and collaborating. So if I could just open up my um, sort of collaborations to a greater group of people, I'd be really happy with that. And just keep on writing songs and music that I believe in, and not going against my sort of instinct. And I feel like if in 10 years I was making music that I still loved, that'd be a success. Yeah.
Yeah, great answer.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Final question for you. As we look ahead to the rest of 2022, what can fans expect from you? Will we see you back on the road? How are you going to celebrate the record dropping?
Yeah. So currently, I'm planning a tour. Well, I have an album release show June 23rd in New York City at Chelsea Music Hall. Then I'm planning a tour in the fall, which I hope to announce dates pretty soon. And we'll see, but planning a tour, and we'll see how far that reaches.